so much.
He
He's
did
getting,
it twice last week.
he's getting all these words out now, like before he actually clicks that magic button.
Hello, everybody.
Oh, there he is.
Y'all didn't hear what I really think of Craig before I pushed the live button.
Well, those of you who met us in Bamarama really did hear what you think of me, like in person. So,
Oh, I adore you. You know that.
in the theme park.
In the theme park. And Tadheed and Tadoo.
Yep.
Kobe, my 20-year-old actually called me. He's like, I think I want to get a new tattoo. He's like,
Oh.
I'm like, okay, why are you calling me for? Like, okay,
Yeah.
what, you want me to pay for it? He wants me to pay for it. He wants me to fucking pay.
Oh, that's why
He wants me to pay for it. 20 years old. He's like, you pay. Yeah, he's like, you won't pay for it because it's like this one. It's this one.
Yep.
This one, you know. And so I'm like, I'll pay for that one. Fine,
well, if it's matching you, then you got to.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. So I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
I got
if it's matching Dad, then Dad's got to pay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fair enough. It's understandable.
Fine,
but I'd draw the line if he starts matching you every single one. That's when I'd sort of, hang on. Yeah, the whole arm. Do the whole sleeve.
I won't let him do the whole arm. Not with this. Not what I did.
No.
This is my life. This isn't his life. He gets his own life.
Exactly. So
yeah, his is going to be all Marvel. That's not Star Wars.
And boobs.
Well, that's your life too. So let's be honest.
Yeah, I don't have boobs on there though. I do have. I don't. I have Marvel on my ankle, not on my arm. Not on my arm. No. I'm almost done. I'm almost ready to close it. It's almost done. I'm getting there. A couple more sits. A couple more chair visits. I'm done. I can finally put it past me. You know, it's like, I mean, you've been there. Like anybody who's ever gotten a sleeve done, it's like once a month you're miserable for like 2 weeks. You know, because you get it done, and it's just, I get like 5 done at a time. It's not like I get like one done. It just hurts, and it's just miserable, and it's just 2 weeks you're miserable. You know, like just this has one little scab left, and this one's all done. This one's all healed.
Yours still scab? How long ago was that?
Artist is done. I got like one little piece right, just one little piece right here.
That was months. That was a month ago.
No, it's about 3 weeks. 3 weeks.
3 weeks. Well, that's. Yeah, this one healed right up real quick.
This is like colors and stuff.
What do you think of the size of this thing is? Like
that size is black and white. What are you talking about?
What's the size? Size does matter, Scott. You don't know that because
you told us all about it offline. You told us all about it.
It's not just the length; it's the width as well that counts. So
and apparently the grass.
Correct. Yeah. The grass has got to be trimmed.
We saw Scott as mini me next to big guy.
Yes, exactly.
Craig. Chad wasn't here to freaking give me crap.
Chad missed out on that, like giving Scott crap business all last week. So
you can't give me crap. The giving crap part is over, Chad. You missed the window. You missed the give crap.
I was biting my tongue while watching it. It's like I can't say anything.
Meanwhile, Chad, just to let everyone know, the floor is yours now. Are you feeling better? Is everything okay?
I am feeling a lot better. I'm not 100%, but yeah, I had the flu, so and yeah, it knocked me out. I mean, this is the worst flu that I've ever experienced, and I was out of work for most of last week, and I'm still exhausted from it, still physically recovering. So
I spent one night with Scott and had a little tickle in my throat for the 24 hours while he was there, and then it was gone after that. So it's all good.
So you're allergic to me? Is what you're
I understand that.
Yes.
All right, I'm going live on that note. Here we go. I'm going we're live, aren't we? Oh my God, we're live. All right, I'm starting the show.
Yeah, let's start. Come on.
Okay, here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
You want to know how to find it. Seek it out when they hide it. You know it's in the bag when it's an easy grab. But come on, take a chance now. Geocache. And if you need help, we're right there in a flash. If you got a question, just call in and ask. Uncover the stash on the Geocaching Podcast. The Geocaching Podcast.
Welcome, everyone. It's Wednesday. It's 8:30. which means it's once again time for the Geocaching Podcast. My name is Scott Burks, and please welcome first our co-host from Down Under, See My Shell.
G'day, Scott.
Good day, Craig. And as always, to my virtual left, guys, he's back, and he's better than ever. He's healed, mostly. To quote young Anakin Skywalker, mostly. Our co-host, Chaz, 4027.
Howdy, y'all. Do you know your local reviewer?
I do. Raising hand for all of you not watching. Tonight's episode 853, recorded live on February 26th, 2025, is the reviewer chat discussion with Reviewer Smith 4, not 3.
No.
4. That was my mistake. I guess who enlightened me, Reviewer Smith. Yeah, the phone lines are open, guys. Give us a call, 808-468-7924. That is 808-GOT-SWAG. And hey, for you international callers, you can call us free via the web at callinstudio.com/show/GCPC. But first, Chad. Chad, by the way, Craig stunk at this. But first, Chad, we got to talk about Patreon.
We got to pay those bills.
That's right.
That's what it was. Right? I missed that. I said, do you get anything with that? I was too early.
I was too early. Yes,
early.
you do, Chad. Thanks for asking. You get extra audio, extra video, only available to our Patreon members. You get stickers and pins and you get stickers, pins, path tags, and coins. You get the amazing end of the year patron only show, aside from other patrons only shows, and you get much more, guys. It's a lot of fun. There's two ways you can help us out. First way, you go to paypal.me. That's paypal.me/geocaching podcast, or you join the Patreon.
Get anything with that?
You do. I already said it. You get stickers and pins.
I know you already said it. You went early.
He went early. We stuffed him up, Chad. Chad. Give me a high five, mate. Give me a high five. There we go.
So, guys, you want to join Patreon, the better side, the fun side, the paywall. Guys, I got 3 videos in the hopper right now. There's 3 videos in the hopper waiting to go live. One of them, I'm just, spoiler alert, See My Shell, eating a corn dog. That's all I'm going to say. Eating a corn dog. No. Don't say another word.
I was to say I forgot about that one. In that case, then I've got to get mine together for the patrons as well of Scott trying so hard and desperately to find a cache which he couldn't actually find or open and had to revert to me. So... put it this way, little man. That's what it was. Little man versus big man. That's what I'll say to that.
Cash in the hopper. That video in the hopper as we speak, going live.
So Scott, I'm going to have to wait because I'm a patron, so I have to wait with all the patrons to see myself on this video.
Yeah.
Wow.
Doing the things you do to a corn dog.
Well, Pluto pup.
Yeah. Whatever. So guys, you want to join the Patreon side. It's much more fun over there. Come on, let's be realistic here. You guys, you want to help us out, you can. A tier start as low as $5. $5 a month. What is it? That's a coffee. Come on, it's a coffee. Guys, you want to help us out, you can. You go to patreon.com. That's patreon.com/the Geocaching Podcast.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Welcome back, Jack.
Thank you. Tonight's show is brought to you by Cachly. Cachly is an advanced geocaching app for iOS. It features powerful online and offline features, including filtered searches, offline maps, and offline saving of caches. Cachly has hundreds of advanced features that will make your geocaching experience just that much better. Get more info at cachly.com. That's CACHLY.com.
And it's also sponsored by Logwork. Logwork are the creators of the fantastic logbook, made with genuine Write in the Rain paper. The logbook designed for the micro containers of the present and future, geared towards the hider who would rather go cache than do cache maintenance. Find them at logwork.com. That's LOGWERK.com.
Yeah, it's also brought to you by FTF Geocacher magazine. FTF Geocacher is the magazine for geocachers, written by geocachers. With 6 issues a year, FTF offers practical advice, hints and tips, cacher buyers and milestones, geocaching events, trail tales, and all things geo-related. Find them at ftfgeocacher.com. That's ftfgeocacher, one word.com.
Hold on, really quick, Hold on, chat. What still works, by the way? You know what I love about technology? So I just flew to Alabama, right? We all know that. So I downloaded a couple movies, but I have the FTF Geocacher app on my iPad. So I downloaded the new FTF Geocacher. I read it on the plane.
Easy.
I read the magazine on the plane.
Easy.
I love technology. It's the best.
Yeah.
So guys, even if you don't like magazines, you can get the app. And you can download you can have FTF Geocacher right on your iPad. It's cheap.
Digital subscription, and
Digital.
I think a digital subscription is actually cheaper as well
I love it.
than the
I
physical
love it.
subscriptions.
Yeah, I downloaded the newest one and read it on the plane. Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, so kudos plugs to FTF Geocacher. Yeah. All right, sorry, continue.
And by the Max's Body Company. Max's Body Company make handmade bath and body products from all natural oils and butters. Items such as Poison Bee Gone soap, itch spray, and 2-cent choices of bug spray are all great for outdoor enthusiasts like geocachers. At Max's Body, we have you covered from head to toe. Find them at maxsbody.com. That's MACSUDSBODY.com.
And by Practical Geocaching. That's the cadence he's got. And by Practical Geocaching. Practical Geocaching sells utility items for geocaching, Chad. Our items are made in the USA, and we always provide free shipping. Find them at practicalgeocaching.com. That's P-R-A-I, I can't spell. P-R-A-C-T-I-C-A-L geocaching.com.
And by Art and Crafted. Art and Crafted creates a unique
Art and Crafted.
Art and Crafted. Art and Crafted. Jeez, he doesn't let us stop. Creates unique geocaching themed tees and custom designs for you or your geocaching group, with adult sizes ranging from small to 5XL. If you have an idea for a shirt design and cannot find it, then you've gone to the right place. Give them the opportunity to show you how they can enhance your caching experience with your own custom design. Visit them at artedcrafted.com. That's ARTEDCRAFTED.com.
And by PatTag.com for all your swag and PatTag needs. Visit our website to get creative help, to trade our log tags, or to purchase your own personalized Pat tags. With over 50,000 tags to collect, PatTags.com is everything you need to start your PatTag obsession. Visit them at PatTags.com. That's PATHTAGS.com.
And by GeoGo. Go caching with GeoGo, the geocaching app for Android that includes a Where I Go player, trackable scanner, companion watch app, and county finds database. If you're an advanced geocacher, GeoGo helps with powerful features like nearby cache notifications, optimized routes, offline mode, bulk TB logging, and much more. Learn more by visiting them at geogo.com. That's GEOOH-go.com.
And finally, by Cashcraft. Cashcraft
button.
builds handmade geocaching products and has launched their brand new gadget caches in metal ammo cans, as well as new path tag display shapes. Find these and all. Yeah.
A gadget geocache in a metal ammo can.
Yes, you've not seen their social media in regards to
I have. Oh, is that what I have
That's
seen?
what
That.
it is.
Yes.
Yeah. So they're actually
having
they're building their own gadget caches. You can buy gadget caches ready made to put out. So that's what this is all about. Yes, and all handmade, done themselves as well. Where was I up to?
Find these.
Every time. Find these. Find these and all other Cashcraft geocaching products at their vendor booth at Geo Woodstock this year in West Virginia, May 23rd and 24th, or by visiting them online at cashcraftnj.com. That's CACHECRAFTNJ.com.
What is it, May 23rd and 24th? Is that Saturday and Sunday? I don't know what that is. Or is that
Thursday? That's Woodstock. That's the Giga. They're going to be at the Giga, Scott.
I know
the
it.
Giga.
I know it is, but I don't know what those dates are. Those dates. I mean, the Giga goes all week.
I think it's a Friday and Saturday because the gig is on the Saturday.
Saturday's on the Saturday, yeah. So that's Friday.
Saturday's on Saturday. So I think it's Friday and Saturday. Yeah, they're going to be
Friday.
there.
I'll be gone. So, Friday I'll be ATVing with Chad apparently.
Yeah, it's costing you $400. What is it,
dude? What's money? I'm burnt.
Oh, please! You never said that before.
And as always, you can find links to our sponsors. That's what I work for, to spend money. You can find links to screw my kids. You can find links to all our sponsors on our website, on our show notes, or Chad. Oh my God! Wait, you can find links to our sponsors on our website, or I know I'm all messed
or
up.
in our show notes.
In our show notes. Thank you, Chad.
What's going on with you tonight, Scott? You're like all over the shop.
I'm all over the show.
You really are. How many beers have you had before the episode?
I'm only 2 in. Shocking.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Shocking.
Yeah.
Okay. Ellen, of course. To no surprise, I was literally expecting this email. LNN Railroad, sent an extremely detailed. I never get his name right. Sent an extremely detailed email with video, mind you, about the UTC or Coordinated Universal Time we talked about in the show last week. Thank you for the lesson, LNN Radio or LNN Railroad. Yeah, I'm not going to read it because it's literally paragraphs long explaining.
Well,
I'm
see,
sure Chad wants to, but
if I wasn't sick, I would have been able to definitely you
but
know,
he literally had
say
video.
what it is because I use it every single day in my
You
work.
use UTC?
Oh,
UTC.
look at-
So
look at
all of
Chad
our
showing off.
servers and data and everything, all the
Is
times
that
are
showing off though? That's
UTC.
kind of nerdy. I think it's a nerd show.
Yeah, it's
It's-
kind of nerdy, but all of our test content
More
and all the timestamps
Yeah,
and
I see
everything
that.
is all on UTC, so it's all aligned no matter where in the world the equipment is.
Yeah. I already know this. I already know it. I learned it from Alan and Railroad. You're too late, Chad. Sorry.
I
Yeah.
got
How much-
mail. Yay! I got mail.
What's what, Craig? What's wrong?
Yay!
I was gonna say, like, I saw it as well, the actual email, and I'm like,
Did you
how long? How much UTC did this guy waste doing the email? Like, that's insane.
He gave me the whole rundown of how it works. You know what? I learned something. I read it. For the record, LNN, I read the whole thing. I watched the video.
Yeah.
I even watched the videos.
Wow, Scott.
Canuck,
He
1867.
didn't bother to send me the information because he knew I knew it.
Canuck, 1867 says, I've reached the age where I think about things before I act on rash impulses. After almost a month of reflection and watching Scott and C. Michelle's videos, I have but one question. Can they be done at night when, let's say, a headlight? She's talking about the nudie caches.
Oh yeah, I know they're talking about. Mine, you can't. Mine is daylight hours only because it's actually a gated resort, a nudist resort, and so it's only open during the daylight hours. So it's gated.
She says, P.S. I only watched the videos once, I promise. Both of ours. I'm glad you both wore hats and smiles. And then
she watched mine a lot more than once. I can give you that tip right there because with mine, like I detailed like to try and blur out as much as I can. She would have scrubbed through that frame by frame, making sure that I blurred every single part of me out.
Did you blur every single part? Did you go through and blur everyone?
I hope so. I mean, the people behind me at Panera Bread when I was editing saw it all, but apart from that, like,
Mommy, what's that?
yeah.
That's a pervert, honey. Leave him alone. Jones in for an Escape says, finally got to listen to last week's episode and wanted to throw our opinion out there. We've been caching for almost 4 years and have over 3,000 finds in 33 different states. 33. Well played, sir. Our vote is for Alaska. For the record, official record, I booked my Alaska tickets right before this show. I am going to Alaska in April.
For 3 days.
49 states.
3 days. 3 days.
Hey man, I ain't petting penguins and finding caches.
There's no penguins up north. We just told
I'm
you
not
that.
poking bears. I'm
There
finding
you
caches.
go. There's no penguins up north.
I ain't petting penguins. It's more fun to say I ain't petting penguins and finding caches. But if you do make it to Alaska, I'm gonna make it to Alaska. The caching is amazing. Chad, have you been to Alaska? You've been to Alaska.
Yes,
But you
I've
never
cached
cached
in
in
Alaska.
I'm
And
knocking the table for Chad because Chad's been everywhere. But you never cached there, have you?
yeah, I cached there.
You have. Oh,
2015. I got caches in Ketchikan, Juneau, Skagway.
oh, look at
I
you.
woke up in the middle of Tracy Fjord, and I realized that I was 300 feet away from a earth cache,
Oh, nice.
and did one on the boat.
Nice. See, Michelle, have you ever been to Alaska?
Of course I have.
Nice.
And I was the same as Chad as well. I did the full-on Alaskan cruise and did the earth caches on the Alaskan cruise, Ketchikan, Skagway, Juneau, the whole lot, the whole kit and
Did you get the
caboodle.
oldest? Did you get
The
Sitka?
Denali, no, I didn't get Sitka. I was in a group and 90% of the group were muggles, so I had to really, watch what I was getting. So yeah.
I'm getting Sitka. Chad, do you have Sitka?
Chad
No,
was sick.
do not have Sitka.
Chad was sick last week. Oh,
Hey now. He says beautiful.
If I go back there, I will try to make a trip over to Sitka. But that's an excursion, a major excursion.
I know. Trust me, and it's an expensive excursion as well.
Yeah.
Chad, you can do what Scott normally does and just say, "Look, Scott, while you're there, can you sign my name?"
Anybody ever want to sign my name? Go right ahead. Sign me in. No problem. Just let me know. Let me know so I can log it. He has bullet points for why he's choosing Alaska. Beautiful scenery everywhere. It seems like every cache is next to a snow-capped mountain, a peaceful stream, or a cold ocean. High density of caches in the big cities. Anchorage has almost 1,600, and enough to keep you busy in the little cities. Nome has 25. Almost all the caches we found there are well taken care of and maintained. My guess is that they make the containers a little more robust due to the harsher weather. We found few LPCs and PNGs, but that was not the norm. Hardly ever found one on the ground. Most were elevated at least a few feet. And don't have to worry about snakes or spiders in guardrails or tree cavities, but you do have to worry about bears and moose. Yep, bears and moose. Yes. So yes, that is Alaska. It's coming up in late April. I'm going with Skippy. Going with FF Skippy. Going with Skip.
Oh, wow.
Skip.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm going with Cody Dog. Borg. And I'm going with Tyrone Shoelaces. I don't have a soundbite for Tyrone Shoelaces, but Tyrone Shoelaces is going as well. Yeah. From Ohio. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun trip. Yeah, we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have a little sausage party out in Okay, that's all we got. Guys, tonight's episode is a reviewer chat discussion with reviewer Smith. Reviewer Smith 4, not 3, 4. Guys, I made the mistake and I thought it was 3. It's actually 4. So let me bring in and introduce guys as always. I'm going to unmute him. Reviewer Smith, RS, hello.
Good evening. How you guys doing tonight?
Good. Guys, this is my reviewer. This is the Illinois reviewer, the guy who reviews. He just published one of my events tonight. He literally just published one of mine.
And denies most of the others.
Yeah. Welcome back, and you should have denied his event.
He did.
Yeah,
I had to go.
I did.
He did. He
Yeah,
denied it yesterday. I had to fix it.
Yep. It's a minor detail. I mean, nothing too serious.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
yeah.
but it happens.
You could have let it slide. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Try to keep consistent.
Anyway, RS, good to see you, buddy. So funny story, Chad. I don't know if I told you this. I'm in Bamarama. I'm in Alabama, right? And I'm walking down the street, and there was a guy in front of me, and I'm thinking because I'm going to meet Craig. I'm talking to Craig, and I'm like, "Where are you?" Because we got separated, and he's telling me. So I'm walking towards him, and I'm looking at the guy in front of me, and I'm like, "That looks like RS." RS being reviewer Smith, my reviewer. I'm like, "That looks like RS." And as I walk up to, because he stopped, I walk up. Sure enough, boom, it's my reviewer in Alabama. Yeah. What's the odds?
Yeah. Drive 13 hours, get away from the Chicago people, and who would I run into? A Chicago person.
Well, the same thing happened in Seattle a couple of years ago. A couple of years ago in Seattle, wherever we went. RS
stalking each other.
Yeah, we were there everywhere. Wherever we went, you were there.
Yeah. It was my first year at Bamarama, and I will definitely be going back. I did not plan enough days ahead of time, to do all the things that I wanted to do. I mean, I didn't get down there until Friday afternoon, and then I had to turn around and come back, Sunday afternoon. So it was a quick turn and burn because I drove down.
Oh God.
So yeah. Well, it's only 13 hours. It's not bad.
Oh,
but yeah. But no, it was just phenomenal. Just really enjoyed it. Then I ran into some other Chicago cachers on the doing the geo art at the state park, because I that boardwalk that I don't know if you got any of that geo art down there.
No,
but yeah, it's just a beautiful bike trail system down there, and so I had an e-scooter with me, a little easier to pack and navigate than the e-bike. And so I was zipping around on that and ran into some other Chicago people. So we had a nice little chat and caught up. And there's a picture floating around somewhere on someone's Facebook page or whatnot. But yeah, no, it's a good time. Ran into a lot of people that I knew and met a bunch of others that I didn't know. And so it's just, but that's what geocaching is about.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, it's always a good time to, I thought it was a great place,
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely want to go back. I thought it was a lot of fun. I was there for 26 hours. Well, a little more because my plane got delayed, but
whoops.
Yeah, that's what happens. But it was a lot of fun. I had a great time. Hung out with Craig for the weekend, and it was a lot of fun. We do have call-ins tonight, so you guys want to give us a call?
Right.
Phone lines are indeed open. You want to talk to a reviewer? Again, I cannot stress enough that if you are not in the state of Illinois, he may not have an answer to your question in terms of like, well, I would do this, but it's not you.
Well,
so general,
and that's what we'll put our disclaimer in, is that the questions that come in, obviously I'm not going to discuss the actions of another reviewer, just because there are so many nuances and differences between states or even within states. And then I also reserve the right to say, sorry, that's a question we're gonna have to avoid. So, but other than
Absolutely.
that, yeah, open the floor.
Of course.
I mean,
You absolutely can say that.
And Scott, as well, I would just say if people just want to listen as well, we do have a few good questions, like generalized questions as well, that the good old reviewer Smith should be able to answer the general questions which we ask rather than a specific type of question or cache, etc. So we have quite a few of those. So yeah.
And guys, if you don't want to call in, you could just put it in the chat room, and we will flag and make sure we ask them as well. So Smith, first of all, just to start off, how are you and how's it going? Everything okay?
Yeah, there's this last year's, just I won't elaborate too much. It was, had some personal challenges, and we'll get into some of the caching details later on. But the reviewing was a great, I shouldn't say the term distraction, but it was a great way to continue on in dealing with some of the things personally and whatnot over this last year. And obviously, I will probably talk about the the what I call the fart series later on. Sorry, Howard, but can we say fart on the radio here, or you're gonna get hit with a bill?
No, you won't. No, you won't. I will flag.
And obviously we'll discuss that geo art later on, but
yeah,
but no,
God.
it's been busy. But it's been a good busy, and I've enjoyed the challenge, with these caches. And then of course, work, folks, that have listened to the program before know that I work in healthcare, and I'm 45, 50-hour work week every week. So that doesn't change, but trying to get out and hit some more events. I was up in Beloit for that CCE event on Saturday. And
I have been seeing you. I saw you at the breakfast in the Blustery Burbs.
I never missed that one. I think I've only missed 2 that he's put on, and both times there were blizzards. Just couldn't, when you can't see the road, when you can't see I-55, you need to turn around. So, and as a reviewer, I haven't missed one. So since I'm coming up on 12 years already. Hard to believe that.
So really? Wow.
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. 12 years in May. So, and then of course there's a DST event coming up, which I'll always try to hit that one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
so I'll be up there for that. And, but yeah, the Beloit one was really fun. I mean, I was kind of incognito. I was in my, player account per se, for a while. And then a couple of Chicago cachers showed up that, knew who I was. And then there was, I think one of the Wisconsin people figured out who I was. And so then I just like, all right, well, I'll start making the rounds, and just had a blast talking to some of the Wisconsin, folks, and just doing like we're doing here. I sat at one table and answered questions for a half an hour. It was great.
Absolutely. Of course. Yeah. And so what Smith is talking about, guys, a cashier called Badlands here in Chicago, he put out, I don't know if you guys even know about this, a geo art in between Illinois and Wisconsin. It's out way west. It's west of Rockford. It's way out there. 3,600 caches. It's a geo art. It's a stamp. Yeah. 3,600 caches.
Yeah. And there's more coming.
It's like ET Highway. It's like the ET Highway.
Oh, it's going to be bigger than that probably, but there was a batch that was released on Valentine's Day. We've got another one coming up in March. We've got another one I'm working on for April. But yeah, I mean, and I'm just going to put this out there as well, because there were some growing pains with this series. I seen some, I started seeing these come through last June, and I started seeing, I'm like, all right, what's up with this? So I sent an email saying, hey, what do you got going on here? He goes, oh, I've got a series of, I can't remember the initial number, like 500. I'm like, holy cow, hold on here, and you want this, within a month. It's like, I'm going on vacation in 2 weeks. I said, we're going to have to get serious about this. And so, we worked through, there were some initial growing pains, but we worked through it. And then, one of the next phases, was going to be up in Wisconsin. So I'm like, you know what, as a courtesy, and I'm just saying this not just for me, but for all reviewers, if you're going to be putting out some sort of series that's, above 20 or above 25, you need to give your reviewer at least a month's notice, because 9 times out of 10, there's going to be a problem with some of those caches that are going to delay a potential publication date. Now, if you drop, 100 caches and want them published, today, what is today, Wednesday? If you want to drop on a cache and want to publish by Wednesday, chances are not going to happen. So work with your reviewer. If you're thinking about a concept or an idea, again, send them an email saying, hey, this is what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about maybe a 300 cache series, blah blah blah. What do we need to look out for? And then the reviewer, obviously will work with you to make sure you follow the guidelines and make sure that you have what's I have a more of a clean pass, so that the first time, it's like now the the pennies, the series that are coming through now, if I have to turn back maybe 2 out of 50, that's about the average now. So,
That's great.
whereas,
Wow. Good.
exactly. But initially, there was a lot more of that until it's like, okay, well, here's what we need to do and so forth. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I've still enjoyed the challenge. And, and again, like I've said before, coming up on 12 years, I still look forward to putting the hat on every night. And, that's a testament to, the Illinois geocacher. I just can't speak highly enough of them. I mean, it kind of makes my job fun. Sure. Every now and then you're going to get that hate mail, and, I just say, oh, well, here's the appeals process, rock and roll.
Yeah.
And, and believe it or not, sometimes it goes in their way. But, with my reviewer notes, especially with the newer cachers, my reviewer notes are very, very detailed on what guideline was infraction and what needs to be done to correct it. As I've discussed before, someone like, say Scotty puts in a cache and there's an error with it. And I'm like, wait, what do you mean? You can't see that there's another cache within 0.10 mile? You're sending me this, junk that, you can't, wasting my time here. And so I start having fun with them, and it's all, and again, it's just, and then I think that's the other thing too, that I think that, obviously some people have accused me of, playing favorites and doing this or that. It's like, no, this is a job. It's when I sit down, it's all business. I don't care who the cacher is. If it meets the guidelines, great, it's going to publish. If it doesn't meet the guidelines, then it's going back. Plain and simple. So,
yeah. Well, the series we're talking about is the Penny Farthing series. For anyone interested, it's Penny Farthing. It's in West Illinois and into Wisconsin. It's huge. It's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. The good news, RS, is I have all the final chords, 100%. I have all the final. I've gotten. Yeah.
Would you pay somebody off or what?
No, I have friends. My pull is long and deep.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Well, I know where they're all at.
I have all of them solved. Yeah.
Yeah. I know where they're all at when they when I review them. But after that, when I'm cranking out, 25, 30 a night, it's like, psh, on to the next one. So I couldn't even tell you where some of the finals are.
Well, if you need it, let me know. I got to pick you.
Yeah. All right. Sure.
Iris, my bag, I'll scratch yours. No problem.
Yep.
RS, speaking of the guidelines and stuff too, and I've got just a genuine question. That is, the geocaching itself over the time, I mean, I'm not sure how long you've been a reviewer for, you can let us know as well, but over time, the rules themselves have evolved. But is there any recent changes that you've actually had the biggest impact on as you as a reviewer, and or anything upcoming that you know about at all?
Nothing really upcoming, but, the guidelines have been pretty set in stone for a while, with some minor modifications here and there. And I think one of the biggest things is permissions. And it's clearly stated in the guidelines. One of the very first things. And for me, I took over Chicagoland in, I think, 2017, maybe.
Under what name? What name were you back then?
Still Reviewer Smith.
Were you Smith?
But there was Reviewer Who was up there.
Who? Yes.
Okay.
There was Abe Froman. There was Abe was in there, and
yeah. So so my predecessors. So I kind of followed what my predecessors have done previously with how they handle caching up in Chicago, because caching up in Chicago suburbs and everything versus caching downstate, in Illinois, two different environments, and even in Chicago, with all the forest preserves and park districts and different, it's just it's a logistical nightmare. But luckily, as I've stated before, Geocaching HQ provides us some wonderful tools that make us more effective and efficient in our job. So permissions is always the one that's kind of the, you never want to get that email from HQ saying, we had to archive this cache because the business owner, wasn't happy with it. And, a lot of times we just assume that they have permissions. And so up, in the Chicagoland area, I've had to crack down on what, where the permission card is played and where it's not played. Mm-hmm. And that's as a result of the increased complaints that we've received. And a lot of this has come on board after COVID, is that folks are a lot more aware of their surroundings. And unfortunately, as most people know, geocaching is a sport that somewhat draws suspicion. Because what do you do when you're it draws suspicion. It draws people like, well, what are you doing? Bamarama, case in point. I'm out there on my e-scooter. Of course, I had my one of my reviewer shirts on, and I'm going through the caching, and I had a lady stop in a parking lot near the bike trail, and actually, I shouldn't say yell at me, call me over and say, well, what are you doing?
Really?
And I said, yeah,
Wow.
oh yeah. So I'm like, all right. I said, well, I'm geocaching. Have you ever heard it? She goes, what? I'm like, geocaching. So I'm like, all right. So, I parked my e-scooter and I walked up to her. She was in the park. And I said, it's geocaching. It's kind of like a high-tech scavenger hunt. It's like, really? So I've seen people up and down here all week. I said, well, yeah, you will be, because there's a bunch of caches along this bike trail that people have placed. And I said, and there's a big event about a half hour away where, it's drawing 500 or 1,000 people. So I pulled up my phone app and I expanded upon, Gulf Shores. And I said, see all these little green boxes and so forth? Yeah. Because, well, those are all geocaches that people have placed. She goes, wow, you just had no clue. And so, I educated the muggle. I said, well, go on to geocaching.com. And I said, you can learn about it. I said, but trust me, geocachers are very harmless people. We're just out finding caches and we're moving on. I said, I've got 5 more miles to go, so I'm going to get back to it. And she's like, thank me for it. But, her house was, one of the houses along the trail where she could see that activity. And again, it's activity that draws suspicion.
Interesting. Yeah. I'm surprised she hadn't heard about it, knowing that what was coming. I mean, there were signs everywhere. All over the
Yeah,
area.
no, well, and that's the thing. I mean, you look at, the town of Alberta where, the event was held. I mean, the entire town supports the geocaching. And you look next to Foley, a lot of the businesses in Foley do, but, you get down, in Gulf Shores, down, kind of toward the beach area. And yeah, I just don't think people had that knowledge. Now, whether they were snowbirds or just the local, who knows?
Yeah.
But, at the end, she goes, well, thank you very much for, filling me in and educating me. And I say, yeah. So if you see people, don't worry about it. We're just out having fun.
Yeah.
So
they're not going to hurt you.
Some people I know as well actually do have like little geocaching business cards on them, and I do know practical geocaching is one of those where you can get like a little pre-formed business card.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can actually just literally hand it. So save you doing the whole chat. You can go, here you go. This is what we're doing. Here's my business card. So and do it that way.
I have
So,
some in my ammo can in my trunk. I don't know why they're not in my catching bag. They're actually in my ammo can in my trunk. Anyway, we do have a call here. We got a call from Iowa. That's got to be, if I know any better, it's got to be Scorpio Red. Scorpio, I'm assuming that's you. Hello.
Hey.
Oh, it is. That's shocking. What's up, buddy?
I wanted to ask the reviewer.
Yes.
In Iowa, we have a lot of cemetery caches, and I like to cemetery cache, but I notice when I go around the country, like I drove down to Bamarama and back, and other states don't seem to have nearly the concentration that we do here. And I was wondering if that's a function of the reviewer not liking cemetery caches, or whether certain states or counties or local governments don't allow geocaches in cemeteries.
Well, as I kind of noted before, the land use policies between different states are so varied. I have no idea what plays in Iowa. I don't know what plays down in Alabama. So there could definitely be some different land use policies there. And a lot of times, cemeteries for Illinois, the rural cemeteries typically aren't an issue per se. And once they become an issue, then I will, what's called zone them off so that no further caches can be placed there. Larger cemeteries that actually have like a field office or whatever, then permission is definitely needed for those type of cemeteries. But it just, like I said, each state is so different with how they handle these things, and so I can't really speak to Iowa. And of course, I've got I know all 3 of the Iowa reviewers very well, so that's something I can ask them next time I see them. Like, hey, talk to me about this. This is a question, or email your Iowa reviewer and ask them.
No, I know the Iowa reviewers as well. I was wondering if it was something nationwide that there's some states that would be better to go cemetery caching than others that because of whatever rules, or if I didn't know if there were any specific rules coming from Groundspeak itself.
No, typically not with cemeteries. You know, and again, it all comes down, you know, the permissions. I mean, you know, they're trusting us to make those decisions. I mean, I think back to the, oh gosh, what, early 2000s. I think Indiana had Spirit Quest caches. And those were all in cemeteries, and those were some phenomenal caches. You know, those are old school caches. I don't know how many of those are left now. And then, you know, that's been somewhat, you know, I shouldn't say, you know, maybe duplicated, not in the quote Spirit Quest way, but you know, but there's, you know, Illinois, you know, they've got their fair share of caches. Now that I do know that there's a cemetery within 20 minutes of where I'm at in central Illinois that there's a landowner there that even though the cache was on cemetery property per se, he made it very clear that, you know, that was his, you know, he considered it his property line and obviously did not want that cache there. So that particular cemetery is zoned off for no cache because just it's not worth the risk. And then when you get in some of these cemeteries, you know, especially that have got private lanes that you have to go through, you know, to get back to a cemetery, you know, some of the property owners, even though I have to go back and look at the legalities of it, that you know, whether or not they can claim that as their lane, private property, because you still have to allow access to a, you know, a cemetery of sorts. So, but you know, we've had cachers report to me that, hey, you know, the nearby landowners just, you know, was really not happy that we were here looking for a cache, even though it's, you know, a clearly marked cemetery. I'm like, well, you know, to avoid future conflicts, we just zone that area off and just, you know, eliminate any future problems.
And I find that it's different from country to country as well. So in Australia, we have a no issues at all with cemeteries. In actual fact, I have a night cache in a cemetery, a night cache. We have to do it through a night. A night cache through a cemetery. Yeah. So you're allowed to do that as well. And geocaching in a cemetery, like the actual cache containers themselves, they are best kept. Why? Because they're always bone dry. So. Anyway, there we go.
Yeah. All right. So, I mean, you know, to answer your question, I mean, you know, again, it is going to vary state by state because of the land use policies or other issues that, you know, have been reported. You know, it just can vary so much.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen it mostly with local.
I just didn't know because, you know, they you know, you can find, like in every county in Iowa, you can find a dozen.
A dozen? Wow. Really?
But not
wow.
a dozen caches. And, you know, you go to other states and, you know, I don't see any. And so I don't know what it is. Okay.
All right,
I
Skip.
appreciate your answer.
Good to talk to you, buddy.
You bet.
You be well.
It wasn't Skip, Scott. That was.
Oh, did I say Skip? Sorry, Scorpio. Sorry, Scorp. Sorry, Scorp.
No, you Skip.
I got Skip on the melon. I got Skip on the melon. Sorry, I was just talking to Skip before the show. So RS, let's talk about mistakes, and I'm the king of them. He literally just denied my cache the other night.
I want to know what. What Scott's biggest or most common mistake is when creating a cache.
RS loves to throw my caches back.
Oh my gosh.
Loves it.
You know, I think that, you know, we've talked about this before, is that, you know, and I think it revolves more around challenge caches, is that, you know, he'll try to submit a challenge cache and
I just stopped.
Not meet the updated guidelines, and it's just like, you know, sorry, it just doesn't happen. But like with, you know, and do you want me to just share what, you know, with your event? Yeah. So I think that, and again, I don't catch them all, but with more people, you know, utilizing the, you know, the apps and so forth, their phones for caching, when it comes to events, I like to make sure that the time of the event is in the description.
Right.
So that way it's more readily available for people, you know, see, people can just, you know, open up the description, boom, it's right there. You know, that was all the simple correction that had to be made. And I've become more. Yeah.
I put the time in the actual time part, like
right,
when you create an event, and I'm like, oh, that's good enough. I got the time there. And he's like, nope.
Right.
Put it in the description. Okay.
Yeah.
I've been guilty of that. So
And like I said, most of them I catch, some I do not. It's just, and it's just, it's just one of those things that with people that are, I myself, I use the phone app a lot when I'm out, and I'll pull up the description. Okay, when does this thing boom? All right, good. It just makes it a little easier to find that information.
I think the other thing is as well is when you hide a cache, you've got to give the reviewer every information you can, the cache type,
Sure.
what it is, where it is, and RS knows that when Scott says that it's 6 foot high, no, that's a lie because Scott can't reach that far.
I can't reach
Apart
that.
from that,
So RS, okay, so let's talk about common mistakes. Okay, common mistakes. How can we avoid them? How can we help? So
Oh my gosh.
now here's an interesting example. I hit a cache. RS, you might remember this a few months ago. In the forest preserve, right off of Milwaukee, and
Okay.
you denied it. You kicked it back at me and said you can't do that. You denied it because there was apparently a puzzle or a puzzle cache. One of the
hidden
stations,
stage.
a hidden
Yeah,
stage. There was a
hidden stage.
I was
Yeah,
not
hidden-
aware of. Yeah, I
Yeah,
was not aware.
and you won't, and that's what trips up everybody is hidden stages of either multi or mystery cache listings, because the system will not alert you that there's a hidden stage there. All right,
Right.
so only myself and obviously HQ can see those, and so when, like I said, when I bring up a cache page, again, the software tools that we have, it immediately flags it, and then I go looking to see what causes the error, and then when I drill down into it, it's like, okay, well, there's a physical hidden stage within 300 feet of it. Now then, for me, I typically do not give much information about that other cache listing with the hidden stage because I want to maintain the integrity of that other cache listing.
Mhm.
Because what will happen is sometimes people will start what's called battle shipping. They'll I'm going to try to
Oh,
find
the
this
good old
final.
days.
Yeah,
The good old days.
And
Abe
I'm like,
Furman used to be like, nope, you're 300 feet away to the north.
Yep.
I'm like, okay, thanks.
Yeah, exactly. And so, and I do that out of respect for the cache owner that has that multi or mystery hide, and so, yeah, so I purposely don't give that much information. Just say, sorry.
Okay.
And I'll look around and say, well, maybe you can squeeze it here, but most of the time, as you know, in Chicagoland, if an area looks too good to be true, it's too good to be true because
Okay.
there's something there.
Okay, so question though. Okay, I'm gonna
Yes.
challenge you on this because
All right.
I think you've allowed this before. I had a cache in the Skokie Lagoons. Okay, years ago, probably 10 years ago.
Okay.
It might have been you. It could have been Abe, and he denied me because it was a cache too close. But I'm like, Abe, there's a freaking body of water in between the two caches. He's like, oh yeah, you're right. Blink, pushed it live.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, now for me, it's still a proximity, regardless of
But
what
it's a
is in the
body
way.
of water.
It
There were
doesn't matter.
islands.
You can hop a boat and go across.
Oh,
See,
okay,
but there's where the consistency comes in,
Mhm.
because where do you draw the line? Okay, it's a body of water. It's a 6-lane interstate. It's the Mississippi River. Where do you draw that line? So you have to be consistent.
body of water. I mean, come on. Obviously, if one's a virtual stage and one's a cache, there's a body of water in between you.
No, once you start allowing some of that, and that's the thing that I and all the other reviewers strive for is the consistency in what we review. And so, what I do for one, I have to do for all. And so, you say, well, how come you let this guy? It's a body of water. This here. There's a canyon or a valley or something. What's the difference?
A cliff face.
Yeah, cliff, whatever. And so it's a rabbit hole that you just don't want to go down.
Yeah, I know, and I'd say I say that because like the one you denied me back a few months ago was I'm assuming the cache was on the other side of the water because I'm on one side of the water and then there's a big stream and then there's a preserve on the other side. So I'm assuming the cache was on the other side of the water. That's why I was like, really, RS? It's on the other side of the water. Come on, man.
It doesn't matter.
Like,
it doesn't
he
matter.
let me do it.
I honestly don't remember. I mean, that was 500 caches ago.
Oh, of course you don't. Of course you don't remember. Yeah. Of course.
Oh my gosh.
But it was just like I was like, come on, RS. You know what's on the other side of the water. Come on.
But yeah, like I said, that's the part of it because, and occasionally we do make mistakes. It happens. Something. Like I said before, we just not enough reviewing juice for the night or whatever the case may be. And if you publish something or do something, other cachers will call you out on it, which is good because it's a check and balance. Or I get the email from HQ, shouldn't have done this. All right, well, that doesn't make for a fun day.
No,
but oh well.
No, but like you said, but it's also but again, that this also varies from some reviewer to reviewer. Another reviewer might allow that to go if there's a body of water in between. Am I right or no?
I
Abe
wouldn't think
did.
so.
Abe
No.
pushed it live.
No.
Abe did.
No.
Outside 15 years
Yeah.
ago.
Abe pushed
Yeah, that
it.
was.
Abe pushed it. He did. God
Brent-
bless
well,
Abe.
Brent
And-
Sawyer
there
on
was-
YouTube.
This is why I
There's
like
probably
Abe
a
better.
lot of things
better.
published back in the day that probably shouldn't have been
Oh,
published.
it
but
was a
that's
glorious
part of-
time. It was a glorious.
that's part of
time.
the the evolution of the guidelines.
Then you came and you denied all my challenge caches.
Yep.
He pushed all my stuff through. He was a great guy. Oh, great guy.
Scott, Brent Sawyer in the comments on YouTube says 528 is 528, no matter what's in that 528. So, yeah.
All right, we do have a call. We've got Levi from Pennsylvania. Levi, what's up, buddy?
All right.
This is a
How you
kid.
guys doing?
Hey, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
Hello.
Good.
You're
I've
talking.
got a little bit of a change of plans for Geo Woodstock. I
Okay.
just wanted to make that clear. We're
Ah,
tent camping. There were no hotels or campsites for our RV available.
I believe that. Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah.
Oh, good job. Do you have a question for the reviewer?
Yeah, I had one about gadget caches. I've tried doing gadget caches, and I feel like sometimes the reviewers have a hard time with the gadgets. So I was just wondering what those issues are.
with gadget caches, well, and
Yeah.
it can be listed two different ways. And a lot of it is, I think, depends on the complexity of the gadget cache. Will possibly determine the rating. And of course, number one here, I don't deal with a lot of gadget. That's just not popular in Illinois. So I'd have to go back and look. But obviously, you can list it. I believe it would be as a traditional cache with a puzzle attribute, for a potential gadget cache, or you could possibly list it as a mystery as well. And some of the gadget caches, it's just only limited to the imagination of the builder. I think that I know that West Virginia, I think Tim isn't. It's got all the gadget cache, yeah. And you go up to West Bend up in Wisconsin. There's a ton of gadget caches up there. I typically, if I'm in an area, I'll maybe seek out one or two here or there, but I don't make them. They're not in my flight plan per se. And again, just the Illinois geocachers, they don't have that many gadget caches. So, but again, it's just kind of. I think it depends on the complexity of the gadget cache and how the icon should or shouldn't be. And that's just my opinion. You ask, for example, I think, if you're in Pennsylvania, you probably got Keystone, he may have a completely, different, idea of, what it should be. And of course, Keystone's a 20-year reviewer. So, obviously he's got that, experience.
And RS, I'll say this as well, and I'm not speaking out of line here, when that is, the reviewers are your friends, and they really want to publish your cache as well. So the more information you can give them about how the cache works, where it's placed, what it looks like, you can share photos as well, like photos of the cache itself, and then each stage where you open the cache and how to open it. If you share those photos, and it's all private photos, like the private shared, it won't be on the actual cache page. You can do that with your local reviewer, and that gives them more of an idea of exactly what you've actually done, and whether they can actually submit it and go from there and publish it for you.
Sure. Yep. Excellent. Yeah, excellent comment.
Yeah, and I'm actually in the very bottom corner of Pennsylvania. So my reviewer, I actually have O reviewer, and he's pretty strict. Like some of his messages, they feel, I don't know if it's different with some reviewers, but they sometimes feel like he's like some of the rules he's kind of making them sound more intense. Or I don't know.
I know.
Well, and again, I'm not going to comment on other reviewers, notes or or whatnot. So we'll just leave that at that.
I will say, Scott, Levi is starting to sound like a little Scott, just saying, wants to bend the rules.
Levi, for the record, my reviewer is really mean too. He's mean to me. He's really mean to me. I know the feeling. Believe me, I know the feeling. He denies my stuff all the time. All the time. All right,
Yeah.
buddy. You be
He's
well.
like
We'll talk to you
knocked
soon.
in.
You be well.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right.
So, RS, let's talk about common mistakes. How can you help? How can you help? I'm
Common
totally,
mistakes.
totally throwing
You
it at
know,
you.
I think that you don't see the common mistakes with the season cachers. Where the common mistakes come in are with the new cache hiders that I don't think fully understand the guidelines, or number two, they don't fully read the guidelines. And so my reviewer notes for the newer cachers are much, much more in detail, explaining which guideline was infracted. And that is our job as reviewers, is to guide those newer cachers so that they become better cachers, cache hiders overall, over the longer term. Some of them stick with it, some of them don't. I've got some cachers in Southern Illinois that I met a year ago at an event I hosted down there, and they've made a few. There was a few infractions here and there, and now they've got over 200 hides down in this area, and they're just going wild. And so those are the positive stories where you feel good about that, because here you've guided this cacher and they've really taken the feedback to heart. And now it's rare that I have to send something back that they've published, and here they're sitting at 200 and 25 hides, and they've only been doing it for a year. So those are that's the ultimate you know goal, or our vision is to help guide these newer cachers to become better cache hiders. And so the biggest thing is just if, and a lot of them, I think, that do the stuff on their phone, and there's some things that the app is limited to, and I think that also provides some challenges. But biggest thing is that for again, for the Illinois reviewer, and just for any cacher in general, is just read the reviewer note very carefully, and try to understand the guideline that was infracted. But as far as for me, some of it's proximity guidelines with newer cachers, believe it or not, even though the big red circles right
Red
there.
circles.
Some hidden stages we talked about, that trips everybody up.
Yeah, that trips everybody.
Business permissions, is another one. Or just cache placement that just this is just not going to be a good hide. So yeah.
Okay, my question to you is, do you ask them if they've actually hid the cache before publishing it? Because the newbies love to do that.
Yeah, we've had some instances within Illinois, and so once I am aware of this, then yeah, that the documentation of cache placement becomes much more intense until that trust is rebuilt. Because if you look at the guidelines, unless you're doing a test chords page, that cache must be in place at the time of submittal. If it is not, that is a guideline infraction.
But it happens all the time.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, and that's where the geocaching community can reach out to say, hey, FYI, this cache published, it wasn't in place. All right, then I will take that up with that cache owner, to ensure that caches are in place, at the time of submittal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now then, does that solve everything, or does that resolve the issue? 90% of the time, maybe.
Yeah.
So.
No, and that's one of the hardest things is, we all love new cachers. We love new people coming into the game, but like when they try and hide, it's kind of brutal,
Yeah.
It's just brutal.
Yeah.
Especially
Well, and that's part of that growth process, because, most of them are using their phones, and the coordinates, with their using their phone, not always the accurate. Now, most of the time I'll catch it, or most of the time, yeah, it looks like a legit spot. Well, come to find out, it's 50 feet off.
Yeah.
And again, you guys will, be quick to say, sorry, this cache is better located here. But, and that's where usually, the Illinois cache is fairly good about contacting me and saying, hey, we have an issue with this, and I'll go in and disable it and try to get it sorted out.
Yeah. Chad, do you have a comment? I heard you talk.
No, I was saying the bad coordinates on with new cachers.
Yeah. Well, and I started.
Nuts. sometimes it's like they're flipping digits and stuff, and which is, hey, I've made the mistake of flipping digits, but I've always checked the coordinates.
Yeah.
On the page is like, that's not right. What went wrong? And you come back and put in the correct coordinates.
Yeah, I mean, there's the Google Maps hack that, like, you just put the coordinates in Google Maps and just see where it is.
Yeah,
Make sure you're in
which
the right
is what I
spot
do. Yeah,
and tweak.
And I think I think that's where a lot of them, like when they're submitting the cache on their, on the app or whatever, they're just so excited and they just start clicking through it, and they don't double check themselves, and then then we end up going down a longer road. So, but again, as most people know, or maybe not, I started caching under my player account in December of 2001. So back then, cords were 50 feet off regardless. So you had to and of course when you're first starting out, you don't know what you're looking for. And so yeah.
Chad, you got a question?
Nope.
No.
Yeah, I thought you were up next, Chad. You're up next, Chad.
You're up next, Chad. You have to ask us questions.
You can have. Yeah, you ask one of the questions that I've written in the show notes, Chad. Feel free to go. You get one of those.
Oh, what are the best practices a geocacher can follow to ensure their cache gets reviewed and published as quickly as possible?
Good one.
Provide as much information as you can about the cache location, how it's hidden, maybe a picture. The more information you give your local reviewer, the better off you're going to be.
So my token hiya buddy
doesn't cut it.
That's all I write every time.
But again, when you get cachers that have got, they've got some experience with them, you expect the stuff to be good, and and that's part of that growth process too, that, like I talked about those newer cachers that started about a year ago, again, like I said, if I have to turn, 2 back out of, like, say 40 of them, it's a rarity, and it's only because I'm not comfortable with the cache location. So,
and
what else we got?
A shameless plug as well. If you're a brand new geocacher and you're listening to this and you want to see it actually physically happen as well, go to my YouTube channel, See My Shell, and you will find I've got a full tutorial series, including one full video on how to hide your very first geocache. And it's exactly what RS is basically saying right here too. So
sure.
So that's it. So yeah, it's just a shameless plug, Scott. See, I'm getting more and more like you, mate. I'm getting more and more like you.
Shameless plug. Shameless. No, but it's I mean, obviously, I don't think I ever read anything in the notes but hiya buddy. I don't think I ever have.
What other questions are in what other questions we got coming in, or anything, or we got through them already?
No, we got more. We got more.
We got more through. Yeah.
I mean, here we are, almost 9:30. I mean, I've got all the time if you want to keep on rocking.
Yeah, I'll keep rocking too. So wait, we got, what's this? I got something from a listener here. Planet watcher. Planet of Cash reviewer asked a couple of questions that I answered. Sent a couple messages to see if I needed anything. Should I just remove it or try another place?
Planet of Cash reviewer asked a couple of questions that I answered. I sent a couple of messages to see
if I needed anything.
If anything, yeah. That one's kind of a tough one because as reviewers, we do have, again, we're volunteers. We have up to 7 days to, as I put in my vacation notes, to reject, deny, public, whatever your cache listing. And so it's hard to, I think one of the things with that one too, possibly, is that if a reviewer disables your cache listing with a reviewer note, you go in to make the corrections, you have to remember to resubmit that cache for review.
Yeah.
Because if not, I am not going to see it. And then people, well, how come you haven't reviewed my cache? And I'll go back and look, well, because you didn't resubmit it for, publication. And so, and until that happens, I don't see it. And I think that's kind of a lot of people don't understand, that is that you can write all the review notes you want, but until you resubmit that cache for the review, I don't see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
No.
Neltra has an amazing, we're on the same wavelength, RS, and I've been saying this for years. How come there are no rules like you have to find a number of caches before?
Okay. I think we've covered this. Yeah, we've covered this in past,
every year we cover.
Yeah, we cover. So, here's the guide, Geocaching HQ, if I remember correctly, they would like you to find at least 20 caches before you attempt your first one. Now then, here's where our part comes in. If I review a cache and that cache has 0 finds and 0 hides, if it meets the guidelines, I have to publish it.
Ugh.
End
Oh,
of story.
it's going to be a paper bag. That's what it's going to be.
Right. Well, and again, that's where the geocaching community comes in and says, hey, you know what? This isn't what, and I can only go by with what is posted in the reviewer note or whatever. And if it's totally something different, again, you guys are usually pretty good about letting me know that, hey, I don't know what you were told about this cache, but this is what it really is. And then that gets put on my list to say, all right, then, the scrutinization and the higher accountability, it just ratcheted up to 10. So.
You can't RS. You can't like go back and forth a couple of times just to confirm different things. Even if it does meet all the guidelines. You don't have to push that big submit button straight away or publish button. You can actually go back and forth, can't you, a couple of times and just.
Oh yeah, I mean, if there's something
confirm.
that just maybe call it a gut feeling, whatever.
Yes.
I'll disable it and send it back. Can you give me a little bit more information about this
Yeah.
cache hide?
Yeah.
But if they outline how the cache is hidden in the reviewer note and we know where it's placed, blah 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 blah, and if it looks good on the mapping software, it's like, well, I've got no reason not to push the magic button.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
Yeah. And Scott, I was going to say, because one of the other viewers as well basically said, they've seen crappy caches put out by people with thousands of fines, like Scott Burks. They didn't say Scott Burks, but
So I
and
noticed.
I've seen wondrous caches put out with people that have not found any or only a handful of caches as well. So I mean, that's hard to know.
It's hard.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So RS, you
Yep.
started doing I guess a couple of years now. You started putting a note when you're like, I have locked this cache that's going live at this time. You know
Okay.
what I'm saying? You started doing that. That wasn't always the case. You didn't always do that. That's relatively new within the past couple of years. When did you start doing that?
Yeah, and again, that's part of that evolution of the software tools that Geocaching HQ provides us. That there's of course we have to set these scripts up that will auto generate when we hit a time publish for the next day. So now the previous way that we had to do time publications, it was a lot different than what it is today, and so we didn't have that option to do the scripting like what we do
Right.
as what we're doing now. So
yeah.
So yeah, things
things
are continuing to evolve with the reviewer tools that we have, which is again, kudos and hats off to HQ for listening to us. And they do a yearly survey, or they'll post something in our forum group to say, hey, we're thinking about this idea to help maybe the reviewing process. What do you guys think? And then maybe we'll go out to a test page and we'll do a bunch of testing with it, and it's like, oh, this is pretty good, but it could use this. And you got guys on here that are way more computer savvy and functional than what I am, and helping to tweak some of these scripts or software programs that we have at our disposal to make publishing that much more effective and efficient. So
really, a GSM times 2 in the chat room says, what he's going to throw you under the bus here. Would RS like to have the guideline change that requires 20 fines before someone can hide a cache?
Well, and again, for me as a reviewer, I review the cache. Does it meet the guidelines? That's my job. Whether the person has 500 fines or 0 fines, if it meets the guidelines, I am obligated to hit that magic button.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yep.
And the thing is, well, that GSM times 2, he doesn't realize. He said guidelines and then requires. They're two different things. You can't have it's a rule or a guideline. There's no
guideline is not required. Yeah, I guess
right.
Guideline is not required. So it has to be a rule put in place by HQ. So if HQ were to turn around and say like, oh geez, see, it's natural. If they turn around and put it in a rule in place where everyone who wants to hide a cache itself needs to have 20 fines, then that's a rule they put in place, and then all the reviewers can do that. So,
but you know what? Here's the thing: is that even if you were to potentially make that 20 cache limit, would it really change the outcome of what I'm going to be seeing on in one of my hoppers? Probably not.
Yeah.
See, my theory was you got to be premium to hide a cache. Yeah, premium.
Cache. That's an interesting.
That was my concept.
So that's then it's pay to play. That's the problem HQ have with that too. So
that's true.
That's the way it works, man. Sorry.
Headquarters.
Every time. Every time.
All right, what else we got? What else we got in there?
Wait, Joe Fur says, I see crappy caches put up by people with thousands of fines.
Yeah.
That was you, Scott. He was aiming at you.
I put out crappy caches. I put out good caches. Come on.
Well, and each cache is in the eye of the beholder. What may look good to one person is another person's trash. You just don't know how people interpret the caches.
Keyword on my hides, trash. That's the keyword.
I think every major metropolitan area has that one cacher that just puts out nothing but a tons of garbage.
My God, yes, I could name them. He's not going to. I can name locals. Oh my God, yes, garbage, absolute garbage. Shame on RS for publishing them. Yes, garbage. Yes, yes. It starts with the letter Z. There.
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna go. So RS, I'm gonna throw you. I'm gonna put you on the spot here.
Sure.
Give me your most memorable review, whether it be creative, unusual, controversial. The most memorable review.
And it can't be one of Scott Birch's caches.
It's not gonna be one of mine.
No.
Minor lane.
And that's the thing is that, most of the caches that I review are, simple, park and grabs. Now then, can I look at a cache and think, this is going to be a really nice cache listing? I think back to, I have to say some of the virtual reward caches that I reviewed, some of the folks have really put time and effort into creating a very high quality virtual cache listing. And see, for me, I'm old school where, when I go to an area, that's the first thing I'm looking for. So I'm looking for old virtuals. I'm looking for webcams. I'm looking for stuff prior to 2002. And so now to name a particular, cache list, I couldn't do that per se, just because of again, speaking of which, you want to look at stats real quick, like we do every year, or you want to wait till later on to do that?
Hit it. Let's hear the stats.
All right. So, the previous year, I think I did somewhere around 3,500, I think, published caches.
Okay.
So, obviously, what do you think this year's more or less?
From last year?
Yeah.
I'm going to think less.
Less.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll go more.
Yeah.
All right. Chaz gets the coffee this time. So, due to the penny series.
Oh, the penny series.
How could you forget that?
Minus
we only
the
talked
penny
about
series. Minus the penny series. Come on. That's a throwaway. Come on.
So this year, I published in the state of Illinois 4,880 caches.
Okay, but how many of those are pennies?
That I don't know. Yeah, probably. That I don't know. I didn't go.
There's a lot.
There's
36.
Yeah.
How many of those are in Wisconsin? You figure half?
No, Wisconsin got, I think, 300 or 400 total. That was it.
That's it? Okay.
Yeah.
So you are well under. Then you are well under last year's total.
I kind of thought the numbers would be higher this year, but they weren't. But then again, I forgot some of them went to Wisconsin. So I archived about 1,100 caches. I disabled over 3,000. And I posted over 9,600 reviewer notes. So, and then in the so my grand total for the 2024 for just everything that I did was 18,600 plus notes and stuff on cache pages.
That's a full-time job. That is really a full-time job. And I will say, if people out there listening as well, you got to. These are reviewers. They're volunteers.
Yeah,
they're volunteers. They don't get paid by headquarters. All they get from headquarters is a nice little coin, something like one of those little tracking tags. That's all they get. That's it.
Free shirt.
Oh, free shirt and a free shirt, a free t-shirt,
Yeah.
free t-shirt
So,
for 40 hours a week, and then 52 weeks a year. That's insane.
Yeah, and we sometimes talk about that at the reviewer panels at at the different events. Is that for me. It's about an hour a night.
Wow.
Because
we have talked about this in the past.
Yeah, we have. And just for a quick recap, because I talked about this up in Wisconsin, and people are just fascinated by it. So, in essence, again, I'm the only one for Illinois. So in essence, I have 4 what I call hoppers that I'm responsible for. you've got the 2 publish hopper that caches are waiting to be reviewed and published. I've got the disabled hopper, caches that are disabled. I've got the low health score hopper, for caches that have low health scores. And then I've got the reviewer attention required hopper. So that's 4 hoppers that I have to maintain on a weekly basis. And sometimes, obviously the reviewer hopper, I'm in it every single night. The other, the reviewer needs attention. I'm in it usually twice a week. And the other 2, I'm in them every night, just because, the numbers are they change so rapidly.
Every night.
Yep.
Every
so
everyone else out there, kicking back, having a nice glass of whiskey or whatever, and watching a TV show, and then poor RS is out there like slogging away at his computer. So,
sure.
And these jerks don't know how to hide a cache.
Yeah. Yeah. And then one final stat. Just in the 11, what am I doing? 11 and a half years, almost 12. I have published almost 31,000 caches for the state of Illinois.
Wow.
So yeah, I know. Wow. And I know, I'm like, holy smokes. So
yeah. Okay, so the question, the question is, would you, in the chat room, would you like to have a second state reviewer?
When the back in what was it? 17, I think, when reviewer who retired.
He retired, yeah.
He HQ asked me, it's like, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to bring on somebody? And and that's a great thing we can talk about too here in just a minute about onboarding new reviewers. And I said, let me give it 6 months and see where things are at. And because one time Chicagoland area just had 3 reviewers just for Chicagoland.
Sure, yeah.
And then there was reviewer Jones for the southern part of the south.
God,
he was my sponsor.
Oh, really?
He was who brought me on board. Sure. So anything south of I-80 got reviewer Jones. So I did it for 6 months, and then 6 months turned into 7 years now. So and for me, the caching is still very manageable for me. Now if ever I get to the point where it's, I just want to say, I just cannot publish another Scotty Brooks cache, then what I would, do is I will provide a list of a couple of names to HQ for potential candidates for a reviewer. Okay. And then the vetting process begins, and it is a
process.
Oh yeah.
Vetting. Yeah. Vetting.
Oh yeah.
And it is a very thorough process.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. So, and again, I won't get too much into the details, but and so then after all this vetting process happens, and then a candidate is chosen, and then they are asked if they want to become a reviewer. And then obviously I don't think there's anyone that has turned it down, but they say yes, and boom, boom.
Right.
And of course, I see Ryan Semmel, good friend of mine. I wouldn't publish a Scotty Brooks cache either.
Thanks.
I'll see you in a month, buddy.
Thanks,
anyway, so I seen you had him on. I haven't got to listen to the episode yet, but I'm glad to see Moga back. Anyway, getting back to that. So then a reviewer, is asked if person is asked if they want to become a reviewer. So then becomes the onboarding process of training that reviewer on all of the things that go into becoming a reviewer, all the software tools that we have available, the different processes, the different things that we have to do, such I mentioned, maintaining those 4 hoppers. And now, ever since 2015, all new reviewers have to have what's called a reveal event within 1 year of them becoming a reviewer. So, and I've been to a couple of them, and they're just a blast. Now, I started in 2013, and I could have technically stayed hidden in the closet, but that's just not me. That's not my personality. We're ambassadors of the sport. I'm an ambassador of the sport. I enjoy talking with geocaching, at these different events. I mean, you've seen me mingle at the breakfast events and all the other events, just making the rounds of tables. What can I do for you guys? What questions do you have? Because deep down, we are cachers too. And we like finding caches, and we like publishing caches. And it's just that there used to always be a kind of a weird mystique about reviewers, but nowadays I think that once people see us, it's like I told people in Wisconsin, we're real, we exist. We're cachers just like you. I'm going to go out here and find this lab cache when I'm done. Having this event. whatnot. And so, that's the part that, I think for me is just, it's fun educating people on the responsibilities that we have.
Sure.
But bottom line is that HQ, and not just with me, but HQ holds us responsible for the states that we reside in or review for. And so the bottom line, the buck stops with me. So if I make a mistake, it's not the casher's going to hear about it. It's going to be me. And so
yeah. All right.
So I have a question. If you
ahead,
decide to put out a cache on your regular account,
yes,
who reviews yours?
Oh, we have fun with that. And that's another, I've talked about this in previous, podcasts too, is that we have our own forum group that we are constantly bouncing ideas off each other. What do you think of this cache listing? What do you think of this? Challenge caches is one of the biggest forum groups. What do you think of this challenge? How does it, I'm kind of thinking it might skirt this guideline or it might infract this one here. And so we're constantly bouncing ideas off each other on how to interpret a cache listing. Is it too commercial? Is it not too commercial? Is it violating this guideline? Because we want to get it right, but sometimes it's just that you need that other set of eyes on that cache list to say, what do you guys think? Of course, you put it out in the forum group, you're going to get 14 different answers back, and it's like, and sometimes if there's some discrepancies, we'll have to kick it up to HQ to say, can you give us some guidance here on this? Because this is really, it could go either way. And and then sometimes HQ, they'll have their meetings and say, well, here's what we think. And it's like, okay, thank you. Now we have some guidance on how to process. And that's the same thing like with appeals. Again, people have appealed my decisions and sometimes they've won. And I'm like, okay, well, thank you, because now I've got guidance from HQ on how I need to handle caches like this going forward.
Mm-hmm.
So
Scott, was that you at any point in time? Did you do a?
Have I ever? I don't think I've ever appealed. Have I?
Yeah. But getting back to the original question, Chaz, if we submit an event or a cache on our player account, we usually contact one of our buddies and say, hey, can you hit the green button for us? And then we've actually got a group that, and that's why, oh gosh, was it a couple years ago? I think during COVID that we started publishing caches and we tried to get published a cache in each state. So, you had cache, you had reviewers from California publishing some caches in Illinois, we'd put it out there. Hey, this one's good to go. Please set it for, noon publish at, on Friday, whatever. And then whoever gets to it first would publish that cache. So it's, and so as reviewers, that's just something that we do to have fun, to kind of break up the monotony. It's like, let's just have the Nebraska cache, cache or reviewer publish, this event or something. And so, so there's always stuff like that going on.
That's awesome that you guys have that.
Yeah, but the thing is, Scott, I hear that straight away. He just said, who can press the green button? Not who can look over my cache to make sure it's correct before pressing the green button.
Yeah, and here's the thing is that I've met at these different events, I've met reviewers from all over the world. I've in essence, we've got a friend in every state, every country, whatever, and it's interesting in the fact that it doesn't matter where we review at. Each one of us have the exact same issues, exact same problems. Sure. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's worldwide. And, and so with this Giga event coming up, who knows how many reviewers are going to be there now, with it going Giga. I think when we had the big block party in HQ at 2022, there was close to, I think there was over 80 reviewers there at that event. I mean, from all, just United States, Canada, all across overseas. I mean, it was great to meet, counterparts, from Ireland or Italy. I did the ape cache with one of the reviewers from Italy. And, that was both our second ape cache. We're like, woohoo, whatnot. It's just, but again, we all share the same, challenges and the same problems. And it's just, it's fun talking shop with those guys.
Yeah. Let's do quickly. We're running out of time. It is 9:50. I got a bunch of questions. I know you got time. I do
have to be up at 5, but yeah. So quick. Any closing questions or whatever?
Quick questions. Yeah. Okay. This is a quick run, Rob, sir. Are there any mystery unknown reviewers lurking in the shadows in Illinois?
Are there what?
Any mystery or unknown reviewers lurking in the shadows in Illinois?
No, I have not approached HQ about any support for Illinois, so it'll be me for a while.
You could throw my name out there if you want to.
No, no, you
no,
can't.
that'll be
No.
rejected. Yeah,
That'll be rejected real quick, real quick. Trust me.
yeah.
I know.
Well,
I know.
and again, that's
You're
the thing that I talk about is that when a new there has to, first of all, like I told you, there has to be a need in the area for a reviewer to be onboarded. And some states have multiple reviewers because of either the geographics of the state or just the activity. I talked about I did 4,800 caches last year. That ranked me third in all of the worldwide reviewers in the amount of caches that were published.
Now we know why. Now we know why he doesn't want someone else. He likes being third. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But
No,
RS,
that was all Penny. That was all the Penny series. Come on.
Yeah.
But RS, can you imagine that before you go on? Can you imagine Scott Burks being a reviewer? He's going to say, "Show me what you put under that lamp skirt. If it's a bison tube, that doesn't belong there. That doesn't belong there."
I know.
Yeah. Well, and I've helped onboard a couple of new reviewers, help train them and do this. And, it's just, it's a really, how do I want to say this here? It's just a good feeling to help bring someone else on to the other side of the screen to know that they have that same passion for the sport that you do. Because again, like I said, I can't keep repeating it. I just repeat this. We're cachers deep down too. Bottom line, we just have a few more buttons to play with.
Right.
So
Brent Sawyer says, "I really want to see the reviewer leaderboards now."
Yeah. Well, I did some numbers. There's one guy that published almost 6,000 caches, but then there's another one, and they've got to be overseas because they did like 13,000 caches. That's that's an 8-hour-a-day job to do that many.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So I haven't had a chance to go look up to see where that person is, but yeah.
All right, continuing on the rapid fire questions here. Does reviewer Smith have time to do much actual caching?
No. That's one. That is one. Well, I take it back. When I went to Bamarama, I think between all the adventure labs and other caches that I did, I think I got almost 400, which was one of my better days or better weekends. And that's one of the things that Reviewer Jones, who was my sponsor, onboarded me. He goes, when you become a reviewer, your caching as a player will go down. And yes, it does, because the thrill of going out and seeking those cache finds is replaced by reviewing those caches. Now, do I still get out occasionally? Yeah. Now, like, I'm planning to go to Moga, and who knows how many I'll find there. I plan to go to Mingo. I'm going to be at Woodstock. And so, I'll start route planning with my, usually I travel with one of the Iowa reviewers and we do caches. We went to Flagstaff and out there and back, and I don't know how many hundreds of caches I got. So, but as a player, yeah, do I get out? Yes, but it's nowhere near as what it used to be.
What is, and this is an honest question, and this is why I could never be a reviewer, because if a buddy of mine called me and said, "Hey, dude, what's the final course of this cache?" I'd probably give him the final course of the cache.
Oops. No, we and see, that's the thing. A lot of people don't understand either, is that we actually have a code of ethics for reviewers.
Is it really? So you never, your buddy would call you won't give him the final course?
Nope.
Really? Really?
Now then, if it's, how do I want to say this?
You do. That's what
Scott, I'll just say as well, I do believe that there is, because you think about it, it's all digital, it's all electronic, so there's footprints. So if a particular reviewer looks up an actual cache itself, especially if there's FTF is to be had, and it's been FTF there for months, if not years.
Like, how do you?
And
you have the keys to the kingdom, RS.
If I'm contacted,
the kingdom,
if I'm contacted by a cache and there's like what I call an immediate jeopardy situation with a cache, that might be, but no, to actually give someone a final coordinates or something, no. Now then, if we're working on a series or something, I may just say you need to stay away from this area. And that's the other thing too, is that if we have what's called immediate jeopardy caches, those are ones that immediately are problematic and get archived immediately. From if occasionally I'll get a note from a cacher just saying, hey, I just ran into this property owner or whatever, then those get dealt with immediately. But no, to your question, for someone asking me for final coordinates or something, no, that's not happening. So
That's awesome. Okay, Seabeck Tribe asks, and I know the answer to this. You're going on vacation, so what happens to those caches needing approval? Now, hold on, before you speak,
yep.
Really good about this. My question to you is, are all reviewers as good as you are? You could say what you do, and then please follow it up with, do they all do this?
Again, I can't speak for what other reviewers do when they go on vacation, because I think other states have got more than one reviewer that can, manage the workload in the vacation. But to answer the question, and from Lori K, I guess it is, as you know, I'll post post across multiple social media groups that saying, "Hey, I'm out of the office. I will not be checking the hopper on a nightly basis." But again, by HQ guidelines, I do have up to 7 days to review your cache or deny it or archive it, whatever the case may be. But now then, and a lot of it usually just depends on my travel days when I'm on vacation. I do try to, and you guys are pretty good about, when I post my vacation notes, you guys are pretty good about, letting the hopper, not putting 50 in the hopper, and you guys are pretty good about, I guess, respecting my vacation time. So, and, do I go a day or two without checking? Yeah, sure. But, I typically don't go more than 2 days without at least checking in to see what's in there, just because, of what goes on. So, but again, it's just to that, I enjoy the reviewing aspect. And so, that's just part of the responsibility.
You are very good.
Speak.
You are very good at letting us know when you're going on vacation. Very, very good at it.
I can speak though on behalf of Australian reviewers, and they get together as well. And what they do is, if one goes on vacation, then all the others pick up the slack. So they don't.
Sure.
And that again, I'm just speaking on behalf of the Australian reviewers. That's not key or happens everywhere. So when you say that you don't actually do that, that's amazing to me. You literally take your phone and laptop on vacation.
Right. Oh yeah. Well, and again, most people know I work in healthcare. I'm a facility director for a hospital, for a small hospital, and so in essence, I'm on call 24/7. So anytime I'm leaving town, I've got my laptop with me so that I can remote into work to deal with any potential issues. But again, the laptop also has all the reviewing, so it's just natural to have that with me. So, but also, again, part of that and again, if a reviewer, like say, if I need to take, a day or two off for something, whatever, I can always contact one of my neighboring reviewers, either Missouri, Indiana, whatever, say, hey, can you just keep an eye on the hopper, just, keep an eye, make sure there's no events that are coming through, and, you can, events are usually pretty safe to publish without any issue. And I mean, it's except yours. Yeah. And they'll, I mean, and there's a group out there that, if a reviewer needs assistance, there's more than enough of us that are willing to jump in and help out, because, those tools are already in place that help us determine, where those areas are off limits for different areas. And so the reviewer community is very strong in supporting one another. So, there's someone in need that, there's, you've got a dozen reviewers saying, I'm ready to help. So,
all right, we got Pez Gremlin here. What qualities, I think he wants to be a reviewer, what qualities would ours look for in another cacher should he want to bring on another reviewer?
Oh my gosh. So what so you got to look at, what are reviewers? We are ambassadors to the sport. So, when we look at onboarding a new reviewer, you're looking at folks that are heavily invested into the sport of geocaching. They're ambassadors in their own right already. They're involved with local groups. Maybe they started a local group. They've got excellent cache hides. They've got and they've got a good diversity of cache hides. They've got a good number of cache finds. They're well respected in the geocaching community. When you hear their name, they think, oh man, that's a great cacher. And so those are the folks that, whatever you can do to help support your local geocaching community, chances are it's noticed by your local reviewer. And that's the thing. You just never know when that phone call or when that email may come in and say, hey, are you interested in becoming a reviewer? So
would you, what is Pez Gremlin up for would he be reviewing?
He can't tell you any of that. God.
Yeah. There are certain secrets that us reviewers have, and it's just
because I know RS knows everybody. You know everybody.
well, but part of that, that's our job to know, to know the cachers and to, be out there and be that face of geocaching. I am the face of geocaching for the state of Illinois, and that's and again, I can't say this enough. It's just, but again, it's a testament to the Illinois geocacher. I mean, you guys make my job fun.
Yep.
And that's what keeps bringing me back to the, to putting the hat on every single night and going through the hopper. I think I only had 20 in the hopper tonight. So I ripped through those before we got on the show. Now the other night, I had 50 in there. Okay, cool. Let's get them done. So, yeah.
All right, one more, and then we got to end the show.
Yeah. All right. Whatever.
One more. This is an interesting question I never thought of. The reviewer note that I put describing the cache height in detail when I submit a cache gets air quote deleted before publishing. Does it actually get deleted, or it's just hidden from the listing?
It's hidden from the listing.
So it's not deleted.
No.
Yeah. No.
Interesting.
So any reviewer note is it self archives when it's published. However, HQ and reviewers have access to those notes,
right?
So that if there's a problem with the cache down the road, we can go back in and say, all right, how did this cacher describe this cache listing?
Interesting.
And we can see that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Including photos and everything as well. So you get photos after the hide's there, and it's totally different. It looks totally
right. Oh yeah.
Then the reviewers can go, oh, hang on a second, what's this?
Right.
This person's trying to pull a Swifty. It's the same as I know some that will change details, that will change the descriptions, etc., after the cache has been published, or even the name of the cache after it's published, because they want a funny name to a cache, or they want to make it a little bit more towards the business that it's in front of, etc. So
sure.
Or move it closer.
Well, yeah, and I think that and again, I won't describe to exactly all that we can do and all that we can see and the tools that we have available, but as much as we can do, HQ has an even higher level of stuff that that they can go in and investigate if need be as well. So yeah.
RS, you're the best, man.
Hey, I truly enjoy these podcasts. It's great to talk with the geocaching community and to enlighten the folks on the jobs that we do, the volunteer work that we do. It's it's very rewarding, not only for me, but that's why my fellow reviewers, I mean, that's what we're here for. I mean, we're here to serve the geocaching community, and we take great pride in helping those geocachers achieve those goals of getting caches published and being a resource for the community or for the state, whatever. So
yeah, and I appreciate you, and we all appreciate you.
So I guess we'll what make next year number 5, right?
Yeah, next year.
I mean, unless your show ratings tank or whatever, I don't know. I mean,
No, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Oh, it is. It is. And again, I truly enjoy this time. And I mean, you need just to make when we do this show, we just need to make it 2 hours. That's all there is to it. Let's start at 7:30 and let's just go 2 hours.
RS, don't you move. You stay right there. Okay.
All right, you bet.
Don't move. Chad.
Yes, sir.
Hi. You okay over there?
I'm ready for next week.
Next week, Chad.
Coffee.
Next week, we're talking Cacher Coffee. It's the first week of March on Saturday, so that means next Wednesday is Cacher Coffee, Chad.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also a contest. All of 2025, arted, crafted. Giving away a t-shirt on a Cacher Coffee. All you got to do is call in. You call in, you talk about whatever you want to talk about. You throw it into the hopper. And at the end of the show, Chad spins it. And what happens, Chad?
A lucky winner gets a t-shirt.
Yes, that's right.
It could be you. All you got to do is call in.
It's not going to be me.
It can be the same person who won it last month as well, who called in just to call in, just to be in the actual running for the shirt.
So. Right. Oh, Skip? on Skip.
Yeah,
he just
I'm talking Skip. That's what I'm talking about. Skip. I'm talking Skip.
Literally just wanted the shirt. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That's next week. Next week, guys, Cash or Coffee contest, Hopper, free T-shirt. Can't go wrong. For all of 2025, the whole year. We're doing it all year long, 12 times. 12 times.
Scott, as well, just one more thing before next week.
Yes.
You said it's March. Well, guess what happens with this photo
March.
contest? It's March. The
Oh,
photo
March,
contest
Kyle.
ends.
Yeah, the photo contest ends next month. Oh my goodness.
Ends exactly. So that starts as well. So
we
there's
got a
another
lot of
competition.
There's a lot of photos in there too, I think.
Well, there's more than what there was last week because I put the call out for it. But yeah, there is now. So if you haven't gone and voted yet for your favorite photo for February, go into the actual Facebook page of the GCPC and vote for your favorite. It's pinned at the top. It is pinned at the top. Pinned. And I'll redo it again for Saturday, the 1st of March. For
March.
Yeah,
with that, a brand new one starts.
Brand new one starts in March. Even though you can't win that one, so
I never win. I can't win. I'm a host. I can't win. I can't win. I'm still going to add a picture. Chad doesn't add a picture. I add a picture. Chad just, it worked. Chad just smiled.
He smiled. That's a great podcast. Like that's good podcasting there, Chad. Just
that
smile.
Is quality podcasting.
Everyone can hear your smile.
It wasn't for the audience. It was for you two.
Oh, just
so sweet.
All right, guys. Next week, Cash or Coffee. Everybody, thanks for joining us tonight. RS, thank you for being here. He's probably talking. We can't hear him. But RS, always a pleasure to have you. You stay right there. Guys, always a pleasure to have Ed, the callers. Appreciate you guys. Guys, I'm going to close this show because we got to go. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Please join us again every Wednesday night at 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central as we stream live on Facebook and YouTube. The archive video versions of our podcast are available on our website or on our YouTube channel, and the audio versions are available wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. If you like the show, please head on over to Apple Podcasts and rate, review, and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it, and it really helps the show when you do. If you prefer to watch the show, make sure you click the subscribe or get notified buttons to know exactly when we go live. And hey, if you haven't already, please consider becoming a patron of our show. With tiers starting as low as $5, you will get a ton of additional information, extra audio, extra video, only available to our Patreon members. Please head on over to patreon.com today and subscribe. That's patreon.com/The Geocaching Podcast. Thanks once again to our sponsors, Cashly, Logwork, FTF Geocacher Magazine, The Max Suds Body Company, Practical Geocaching, Arted Crafted, PathTags.com, Cashcraft, and GeoGo. Please visit our sponsors, and when you make a purchase, you tell them the GCPC sent you. That's all we got this week, so we'll see you next week talking geocaching, taking your phone calls. In the meantime, be good, be safe, hug your loved ones, and we will talk to you guys next week. And we're clear. All right, guys. I appreciate all you listeners for being here tonight, and we will talk to you guys next week. Everybody be safe.